What's up, my friends? This is Twizzie back with another rock review. Today we're going to be doing Stone Sour's 6th album, and one that frontman Corey Taylor has been claiming to be some of their best work. I'm excited. Now, going into this review, I gotta let you know I got mad love for Corey Taylor. He's one of the biggest names in rock and roll today, and respectively so. I mean, he's more well known for being the frontman of Slipknot. Guy's very talented, and he's a showman live, and at the same time he's got a wild personality. You could look up his recent beef with Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. It's entertaining. He's such a badass singer, and Slipknot's one of my favorite bands. His work on Stone Sour, though, is a totally different entity, and within each records, I think they do their best to try and prove that. Less and less nowadays, we get the comparisons between Stone Sour and Slipknot. The way I see it, though, is Stone Sour is more of a radio rock metal, more accessible to everyone type music. Showcases Corey Taylor singing more than his screaming, although it does have this occasional thrash. With that said, though, I don't love all of Corey Taylor's work. I could care less for his lyrics, even though they're slightly improved, and he occasionally drops some quotable gems. He keeps the rhyme schemes very simple, too simple sometimes, but I think that's what makes his melody very catchy in Stone Sour. I like the fact that Stone Sour uses a lot of classic rock influences such as Metallica, Judas Priest, maybe a little bit of Rolling Stone, and they mix it up with a newer wave of metal. At the same time, this can be a negative because I found that in some of their older songs, they used to influence a little too much, so it stops them from kind of doing their own thing and standing out, if you know what I mean. For example, a track on this album called Thank God It's Over, it doesn't really feel like an original Stone Sour song, but rather another one of their cover songs and straight out of Burbank. I found their third album, Audio Secrecy, a bit of a misstep for the band. It felt like they didn't know which direction they were going after their successful, more arena rock sound in Come Whatever May, or did they want to go back to a more aggressive alternative vibe like they did in their self-titled debut? It was a mixed bag, which made their follow-up release, it's a double album actually called The House of Golden Bones, so monumental because I felt like right there they were showcasing that they were comfortable doing all of the aspects in Stone Sour, the more radio rock and the more aggressive, and they were able to mix that very well into a fun bunch of songs. The closer in this album, it's called When the Fever Broke, has elements of that bleak and moody sound that House of Gold Part 2 had, while at the same time the first actual song after the intro, it's called Taipei Person a La T. It resembles something out of Part 1. That song is a kick in the teeth, man, and definitely jumpstarts the energy throughout the rest of the album. Heavy guitars, thunderous rhythms, along with Corey Taylor's beautiful yet raw and powerful vocals, makes it a must play live. I really like that track, and I wish that they had just opened the album with that track instead of this intro YSIF, which I felt like it was kind of a lengthy build up into. It probably sounds good to do live, having them come out first before Corey Taylor starts singing, but in the album it didn't really build hype for me in any way. Tracks like Hydrograd and Mercy are total devil horns up in the air and headbangers. I find that Stone Sour is at their best when they're dominantly radio rock, but just reaching that peak of just the divide between heavy metal territory. Now I gotta let you know, I just saw Stone Sour about 2 weeks ago with Korn, and they absolutely killed it live. They played two of the songs, Fabulous and this one, Song 3, and both of them are really impressively done live. Fabulous is a banger. Song 3 is definitely their commercial hit. I found it alright as a single. Now listening to it in rotation as the album, I find it a little bit repetitive. The riffs start to sound really basic, as well as the song structure, and after hearing it, it becomes like a bland rock song that's neither, fun, aggressive, or emotionally charged. Guys, I gotta say, what the fuck is up with these song titles though? The ballad joint in Hydrograd comes in a form of Saint Marie. Now, some of their softer ballad songs are actually some of my favorite songs by Stone Sour, like Bother and Through the Glass. But this one comes off as just very odd. The song is basically country and it's got the twang guitars on it, and to me it doesn't feel like a Stone Sour song, and it sounds more like one of Corey Taylor's parody songs that he plays at comedy clubs. I just really wasn't digging this song. Whiplash being one of the few songs where Corey Taylor actually utilizes his more Slipknot harsh screaming. This is the heaviest track in the album by far. It's very reminiscent of their earlier work, kind of like the song Get Inside, and they show that the band can still get as metal as they want to. Now I gotta say, the guitar work in Hydrograd, for the most part, I really enjoyed him. You know, there's this new guitarist named Christian. Jim Root left the band, which is one of the founder members, and he played lead guitar in all of the albums. But if I didn't know about his departure, I wouldn't have been able to tell that this wasn't Jim Root playing, because the way that Christian writes and plays, it's very Stone Sour-esque. Except he does a lot more guitar solos, like a lot more. And you know, while they aren't overly lengthy, I didn't find the need for him to be in like every song, which kind of started to take out the excitement in them. The solos themselves are not amazing, but they suit the track. But I don't see much of a purpose for them, rather than, you know, being the break between two choruses. And you know, having them in almost every track made it predictable, rather than, you know, opposed to being the cherry on top. Unlike the outro on the song called Witnessing Trees, where, you know, it was really a well-placed solo, and it does add to the overall somber feeling of the track. It makes it more of an epic song, and it reminds me of my favorite jam by Stone Sour called Inhale. After getting that off my chest, I do realize that I kind of miss Jim Root, yeah. Friday Nights is one of the songs that stick out to me, man. It's got an interesting melody and heavier drum riffs right before it goes into this more melodic, softer verse. Corey's singing really shines on this track. He always does an amazing job, but this is probably one of the best, if not the best hook in the whole record. Followed by what's more of a punk influence and Somebody Stole My Eyes, and of course the closer. Definitely the highlights in the second half of Hydrograd for me. When Stone Sour gives, they give plenty. 15 songs on his album, probably even more songs in a deluxe edition package of some sort. You know, with every album I found that they always deliver 7 or 8, you know, solid rock songs, but, you know, a couple bearable ones and maybe 1 or 2 cringy ones. The House of Golden Bones though had no weak songs for me in both albums. With this one there was a couple unimpressive tracks like Thank God It's Over, the cringeworthy Saint Marie, and the painfully average song Numero Tres. But aside from those songs, every song on this album are bangers. Although it's missing that, you know, one crowd pleasing rock ballad, kind of like a Through the Glass or Bother, even though Corey Taylor remains putting on stellar vocal performances. In Hydrograd, him and the rest of the band put out yet another powerful rock record, and they show no signs of getting tired. I thought Hydrograd was dope. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. What did you think of the album? Do you agree with my review or do you not? Let me know in the comments. Let's hash it out, talk like civil people, or we can fight about it. I'm playing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That is my review of Hydrograd. Make sure if you like it, hit the thumbs up or subscribe, and you know, start a conversation with me. Let me know what I should review next, how I can better my presentation and all that. And that's it. I'll see you guys on the next review. Stay sick.